I'm gonna check, make sure we live. All right, so we live. All right. 2 minute kind of peace and war times. I'm your host, Tarkin Noonebu, and I represent the bilateral Ethiopian race. And we got a nice show tonight. I'm gonna let the Kens introduce themselves quickly so we can get on to it. Thank you.
True peace. Kins and friends and all Nooneebus across the world. This is New Karu Nupu, Noonebu Assembler here with the Kins building on the next readings, and I hope for everyone out there is having a wonderful evening, and we're just going to keep it moving. True peace.
True friends, I'm Nebu Nupu. I'm a Noonebu. Back. Oh man, hold on. True peace, friends. I'm Nebu Re Unupu. I'm a Noonebu helper, and I am a representative of science. And tonight we don't have a show tonight. Based upon is on the thumbnail as far as the title, and just looking for all the questions to be answered. True peace.
Anu, you there?
When he come back in, we'll let it he'll just hop on when he get where he going.
Okay.
All right, so we'll just start with the first thing. All right, so we want to give a little background because of what Traore had done, but I'm gonna show y'all what all this stuff come from. So I'm gonna just break it down first. We're gonna start here. Let me know where y'all can see that.
Yeah, I see it.
All right, so we're gonna listen to maybe the first 5 minutes of it. So just to give some background.
Getting the least amount of attention relative to its importance in our country. And like many other issues, we're going to be deciding on November 5 what kind of a country we're going to be, and it applies to this issue as well. President Trump had withdrawn the U.S. from the WHO, and of course the Biden administration, like every other disastrous decision they made, reversed those policies when the Biden-Harris administration got in charge. Well, later this week, the UN is going to hold a, quote, summit for the future. And they're going to produce, this is right from their website, an intergovernmentally negotiated, action-oriented pact for the future with a chapter on transforming global governance. Ascending beyond the powers being sought by its subordinate agency, the WHO, the UN is seeking even broader and more powerful authority, as you will hear a lot about today.
EVE Online is a vast...
The Biden-Harris administration apparently intends to fully support the surrender and compliance of the U.S. to the UN in these endeavors. They are aligned with the international globalists that hate America, that hate the Constitution, that hate our founders, that hate our founding Judeo-Christian principles, and they want America to become like the rest of the world. They don't want us to be subordinate to or governed by our Constitution. No, they want America to be subordinate to and governed by the UN, the World Health Assembly, and the WHO. And in fact, they intend to join with others at the UN summit this week to vote to award additional powers to the UN Secretary General. They seek to facilitate the evolution of the UN from an international cooperative body to an international governing body. These powers would be triggered by any one of a number of so-called global emergencies, whether it was a so-called climate emergency, a health emergency, a cyber emergency, or a gun violence emergency, whatever that's supposed to be, a financial emergency, or whatever they deem appropriate. And the Biden-Harris administration is in full agreement with the UN and the WHO on efforts to place us under their authority and to require such things as their international health regulations, including the surveillance of U.S. citizens, the censoring of dissenting views, and much more. The American people didn't vote for this, and they don't support this, and it's up to the people's representatives, that's us gathered here today, to have a responsibility to expose this and to reject this. The U.S. should defund the WHO again. We should withdraw from the WHO. Any agreements with the WHO or the UN should require Senate approval or disapproval. And a bipartisan House majority voted to require Senate approval just last week with Tom Tiffany's bill on the House floor. So I'm proud to be joined here by my House colleagues and others who are appropriately concerned and educated, informed, and leading on this issue. Again, this is the most important issue that's getting the least amount of attention relative to its importance and its impact on our country and on the American people. And with that, I yield to the gentleman from South Carolina, Ralph Norman.
All right, so before we go forward, what we're doing is they're talking about something that the World Health Organization, that's part of the United Nations, is trying to come up. They came up with something called a Memorandum of Understanding, and this is a global pact that they want to put where the World Health Organization wants to have basically dominance with anybody they get to sign this Memorandum of Understanding. So the branch apart, because there's different memorandums of understanding, but the part that's dealing with the World Health Organization want to have it that if something happens, like he named, any emergency that they deem an emergency, the World Health Organization will jump into action and go in and do all types of stuff. Like he said here for America, they're going to be surveillance, for disease breakout, gun violence, all this stuff that the Epstein files already done showed you that they planned the COVID joint. And what did they do? It allowed them to go in and tell the country to stay in the house. Only people who work in certain places can go out. People's living conditions was interrupted. They was trying to lock the whole country down with that. So we know that this filthy government and its bad actors they create emergencies all the time. 9/11 was created, all these different things, and so what they want to do is create more emergencies because they know that just doing something that doesn't appear to bring in suspicion is easier if they create diseases or emergencies or all of it at the same time. So that's what this was in 2024. All right, so I'm gonna let this next guy talk, and then we're gonna pivot from that.
Thank you, Congressman Good. I want to thank Frank Gaffney, Tony Perkins, all my colleagues for taking a lead role in this. As Congressman Good said, this is probably, other than our financial crisis this country's in, the most important issue to call attention to. The Summit of the Future will happen on September 22nd, 23rd. And folks, what that will do is cede America's authority, America's sovereignty to basically China. China is defined as a developing country. It is the number 2 economy behind America. It's not developing. It will cede our decision-making ability to China. That's what you need to know. Let me read out what the Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, his Policy Brief 2 issued on March of 2023. I propose that the General Assembly provide the Secretary General and the United Nations system with a standing authority to convene and operationalize automatically an emergency platform in the event of a future complex global shock of sufficient scale. Guess who determines that? The World Health Organization. It reveals in their definition a possible global shock, including large-scale climate or environmental events, determined by who? The Secretary General. Future pandemics. We all endured what the problem we had with the latest virus.
Now look at that. You talking about health problems going to be determined by the World Health Organization and this guy he called a general. Let me say it again.
Guess who determines that? The World Health Organization. It reveals in their definition a possible global shock, including large-scale climate or environmental events, determined by who? The Secretary General.
So these reading lists of events, and he brought it to brush with the UN saying the climate change, and they've been hollering about climate change. We know that we're in the sun cycle, and the Earth is heating up for the next 6,000 years, and then it cools down, then it heats up hotter than it was as we go up the smash circle. But it's only becoming a climate situation because of what they're doing. We know that they're dumping pollutants in the atmosphere and nanotech and things trying to block the sun and the greenhouse gases and stuff that's soaking up a lot of the heat. All of this stuff they're doing this stuff. If you go back and look up at the Club of Rome in 1968, when they was looking at the world resources, they were saying back then after a certain amount of time, the world was going to be on its way out because of the resources going to get used up. So this whole climate thing is an excuse as well to get rid of human beings, carbon prints and all this stuff. And you know about small cities, and they want you to try to make human beings reduce CO2 emissions, and that they want to stop humans from eating meat and make humans eat bugs. All this stuff is a part of that climate change thing. All right, so that what this is called is the Memorandum of Understanding. That's what we want you to understand. All right, now, the reason why we're here, all right, hold on, give me a second. All right, so the reason why we're here is because of this. Let me know when y'all can see that.
Yeah, I see.
All right, so we're going to read the first one, but here, Burkina Faso signs $147 million health deal with the U.S. All right, so we're going to read this. Is 2 days old. And Nuke put me up on Ask This. So Nuke went on the U.S. Department of the State. This is the website, right? And it says, fortifying health systems and countering infectious disease threats through the American First Global Health Strategy in Burkina Faso. Anybody who has any knowledge on the history of America knows that they've been using diseases to knock people off since they touched down over here. We know about the smallpox that they put in the blankets of the Native Americans or the American Indians, whatever name they want to use. And they killed millions of them with that. We know about them giving black men, they infected them with syphilis and then pretended to get them medication, but they was just shooting them up with water, watching them what it does. We know that they create all kinds of diseases in the laboratories and release them. We know about all of that. Americans don't even have enough health care to go around. but Israel, because of their control of America, everybody in Israel get free health care. So we want to know what the hell is going on. So it said today the United States and Burkina Faso signed a 5-year bilateral health cooperation memorandum of understanding that reinforces regional health security in the Sahel state while advancing Burkina's capacity to independently manage infectious disease threats before they reach our shores. This memorandum of understanding reflects the Trump administration commitment to protecting American health security while building resilient, locally led health systems abroad as outlined in the American First Global Health Strategy, which we know is a damn lie. America practiced plenty of health threats on its population, from the food to the air to the water to the technology that we know about, 5G, 6G, ELF, all types of frequencies, breaking down people's immune system, all of that. So this is a lie. And we know that Tahuti rules the moon base. So we know anything dealing with health is really Tahuti, Hermes, whatever name y'all wanna use. He's the god over that. So we know he likes to slow roast you. But this is all a lie. How do we know this is a lie? Why would America want to help them? Look, through this memorandum of understanding, working with Congress, the Department of State intends to provide up to $147 million over the next 5 years, which I don't understand that either, because Burkina Faso got control of their gold mines and other resources. Why would they need $147 million? I don't understand. They got gold that they can produce and other things over there to get that. That's small. Now this is different because America offered $1 billion to Zimbabwe and they rejected it. Then they came to Traore and them with a way lesser deal, which I don't understand that. But we know that they like to give you money in exchange for something else.
There you go. There you go. Exchange for something else.
America First Global Health Strategy Memorandum of Understanding, MOUS, signed so far represent over $18.56 billion in new health funding, including more than $11.33 billion in the U.S. assistance, alongside $7.23 billion in co-investment from recipient countries, building on decades of progress. This is a lie. AIDS is already can be cured, and HIV, malaria. But what happened? They kill the people that come out and keep telling you how to do it. They want to keep you paying for something they're not going to cure you. So this is all lies. The State Department signed 17 bilateral global health, you might as well say global death memorandums of understanding with Botswana, Burkina Faso, Burundi, Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, Eswatini, Ethiopia, Kenya, Lesotho, Liberia, Madagascar, Malawi, Mozambique, Nigeria, Rwanda, Sierra Leone, and Uganda. And we know that according to Bill Gates on TED Talks and in that email with Epstein, they were preparing pandemics with an S. And they wanted to drop down the population. And we know that Bill Gates them didn't practice some of their filthy virus packages over there in Africa, experimenting and doing all kind of foolery. So we like, why? What the hell is going on? Why? What is Traore thinking about? Right? So then we got to go here. Let me know when y'all can see this.
Yes.
Absolutely, Chairman. I see
What happened to this dude right here? This was just last year.
this, and I don't mind calling them out, but Captain Traore and Burkina Faso, as they know that both, whether it's their gold reserves, that is all those proceeds are just in exchange to protect the junta regime. There's a number of examples across. Even in Sudan, what's going on with the rapid support forces and Burhan of the Sudan forces, when you get down to it, is all about the revenue that can be drawn out of that. And there are nefarious actors in the CCP and sometimes Russia are complicit in those activities.
Okay, well, you can't imagine how frustrating it seems to me that this mineral-rich continent has not been able to move.
Absolutely, Chairman. I see that.
Okay, let me see if this is going to say this. Is it going to say it on this one? Let me see if he's going to say it on here. Hold on.
I need women to know that you're not limited to anything other than living your life openly and honestly.
Ask your healthcare provider if Biktarvy is right for you, and visit Biktarvy.com to view the important facts, including important warnings.
Yeah, we just seen the little drug commercial just now. So the question is like, how many drug commercials do we see on the average when you go on YouTube or television or cable? They always got a new drug and they tell you what it can do, but then if they read real fast, the side effects. How can a place that uses America to just pump them up with all kind of drugs talk about health? This is dumb. This is dumb. We just seen a drug commercial. People's health is horrible over here.
Captain Ibrahim Traore, during his visit to Russia, had an interview. And when asked about the allegations of General Michael Langley, in his words, he said that even if he decides to use the gold of Burkina Faso, that it's theirs. What concerns the US government? What concerns Michael Langley? And he demanded that Michael Langley apologized. Or he brings out all the evidence to back up his claims. But guess what General Michael Langley did? He came out to question Captain Ibrahim Traore, publicly stating that he will not apologize. That how would he, a four-star general, apologize?
Now look what he's saying. He refused to apologize and said Captain Ibrahim Traore is brainwashing Africans. Now remember that his boss is America. And remember, the same time Traore took power, Langley, under the American government, military was placing small military groups around in a circle surrounding Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. Remember that? They've been trying to knock him off for a minute, allegedly. And you got to say allegedly now because what's going on with this? They've been trying to kill you, allegedly. And all of a sudden, now y'all cutting deals. Why? Why?
Don't make sense.
We're gonna get to the reading in a minute. So now I want, because I wanted to get more in depth. So I went to Chat GPT. Let me know when y'all can see that.
Yes.
All right, so I said, what are the negatives to worry about in the UN Memorandum of Health that Americans should be concerned about. Please give a clean list with 2-word descriptions. So it says below, this is what Americans got to worry about with the Memorandum of Health before I take it overseas. All right? So this is what the chat GPT say America's got to worry about. Below is a neutral, nonpartisan summary of commonly cited concerns America's raised when discussing the UN or the World Health Organization memorandum frameworks or agreements associated with the United Nations or World Health Organization. All right, so I asked it to it gave me, I can either take a party, Republican or Democrat, or I take a nonpartisan. So I said, give me the nonpartisan because it has no connection to either side. Now, this is the clean list that the chat gave me. First thing, it says national sovereignty, right? Sovereignty is basically America as a whole is to hold the freedom and all that stuff that they say America has, the freedom of pursuit of happiness, the freedom of religion, the vote, all that stuff is what a so-called sovereign country has, right? Is why a lot of Americans is having a fit because they've been going against that. So your national sovereignty is a problem. That means this memorandum of understanding is going to be a problem for basic rights that America supposed to have as a whole. That's the first thing. What's the second one? Policy overreach. That means they're going to make policies that go against the Constitution and your rights. Like they was trying to force people to take a shot that they did not have enough time to test, like they basically deal with other vaccines, which they say you need at least 5 to 10 years to know if it works and what damages can come from it. These people did a so-called vaccine under a year and had 3 different versions: Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, and what's the other one?
AstraZeneca.
No, that's the companies. You have
Moderna.
Johnson & Johnson,
Yeah.
and what's that other one?
Johnson.
Just look it up for me and just throw it out there. The 3 different type of the companies over the shots. You'll look, emergency powers, all right, which they name, and they determine what emergency powers is. So if they want to if America already signed on to this crap, and they're going around the world with it, but for America, the emergency powers and the mandate expansion, regular speech regulation, all 3 of these went under attack when the government got more power through the World Health Organization. Remember, the World Health Organization was working with Fauci, and Fauci and them was going back and forth, always nothing to worry about. And then people started getting sick. Oh, you need masks. That wasn't working. Oh, you need to stand 6 feet apart. That wasn't working. You need to get a shot. That wasn't working. You need to get another shot. That wasn't working. People still was catching it. You need to get a booster shot. People still was catching it.
Yeah.
And later on, they started. Go ahead.
The third one is Pfizer.
Pfizer, thank you. There you go. Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson. So all 3 of these, they was trying to mandate people to take something that was not going through the regular procedures of trying to see how a vaccine should be cleared. They was rushing it. And we had already seen Obama, Fauci, and
Bill
what's
Gates.
his name? Bill Gates all had predicted 5 years before Trump got in there that a pandemic was coming. They all said within 5 years. And that's what happened.
Yep, they all funded. Yeah.
Right. So now we know through the Epstein files that they planned all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody that they forced to get the shot to keep their jobs, all that was for nothing. And if they planned the pandemics, and we know that Bill Gates was one of the main ones talking about knocking the population down, it's still on YouTube.
Yep.
On TED Talks. Let me see if I can pull this up. See if we can find that. I'm surprised he didn't get it took down. All right, 2015, all right. So let me share this. It's only a couple of seconds that we're going to keep going to what we was doing. So you look down here, say 10 years ago, you look, you say the next outbreak, we're not ready. All right.
I asked the top scientists on this several times, do we really have to get down to near zero? Can't we just, cut it in half or a quarter? And the answer is that until we get near to zero, the temperature will continue to rise. And so that's a big challenge. It's very different than saying, we're a 12-foot high truck trying to get under a 10-foot bridge and we can just sort of squeeze under. This is something that has to get to zero. Now, we put out a lot of carbon dioxide every year, over 26 billion tons. For each American, it's about 20 tons. For people in poor countries, it's less than 1 ton. It's an average about 5 tons for everyone on the planet. And somehow we have to make changes that will bring that down to zero. It's been constantly going up. It's only various economic changes that have even flattened it at all. So we have to go from rapidly rising to falling and falling all the way to zero. This equation has 4 factors, a little bit of multiplication. So you've got a thing on the left, CO2, that you want to get to zero. And that's going to be based on the number of people, the services each person's using on average, the energy on average for each service, and the CO2 being put out per unit of energy. So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to zero. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to zero. That's back from high school algebra, but let's take a look. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%. Reproductive health services, really great job in people. That's headed up to about 9 billion.
Look what he say right here.
Now, if we do a really great job on...
If we do a really great job on...
new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
So reproductive health services, that's what he's doing. If you, again, the same thing like the wordage. What is that, where people go get abortions and stuff at?
Oh, you're talking about Parent Parenthood?
Right. How is it planning for parenthood if y'all are providing services to kill the fetus? That's not Planned Parenthood. It's the opposite. Same thing with him. If you talking about reproductive services, you talking about stopping the population. So that means you lowering it. You can't lower the population if you adding to it. So why are you using the word reproduction in this conversation about lowering the birth rate? It makes no sense. Once again, the Epstein files show that him and your boy Epstein was saying, I hope we can pull this off. So all of this is a scam. So everybody that was participating saying that whole thing was created and a plot was true. But how many of us YouTubes and all that stuff got shut down when we was telling people this?
Yeah.
For 2019, 2020, 2021, and Biden them shut down all that stuff. They even threatened Zuckerberg and told him to flag anything that was going against getting the shot. Because they was censoring hard. They was wiping whole sites off. People was running to anywhere else, but you couldn't say it on YouTube.
Nope.
Anytime you put something out, the fact checkers said that this is not true. I got so tired and sick of hearing it. The fact checkers. Who was the fact checkers? They was all lying. Now we know, but how many people have died because of them telling these damn lies? All right, so let's jump back. Let's jump back. All right, so then look, let's keep going. Data sharing. All this is what Americans got to worry about with because they got to take all your information. Remember, when they was forcing everybody not, and eventually they kept telling them, oh, if you buy some, they was trying to trick people into taking the shot in New York. They was giving away free donuts from Dunkin' Donuts. They was giving away free chicken.
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. They was giving away free rides on the train, on the buses. They was trying to give you all kind of little things to take this crap. When have you ever seen that? You know why they was doing that? Because the sovereignty and the rules in play, they couldn't just force you like they do in China or Russia or somewhere else. So they had to find ways that they try to make you feel guilty and be like, oh, now it was one from the people who wasn't sick or they didn't catch it or didn't take the shot. We was the ones that was responsible for the people getting sick. But we know now from the Epstein file, y'all was doing that.
Yep.
You was tearing up the sovereignty, making up policies, or if you don't take this shot, you can't work. How many people in the military got kicked out? How many people in the medical field lost their jobs because they refused to take the shot? This is what they was doing. Speech regulation, data sharing. Look, privacy erosion, medical coercion. They was paying doctors now and giving them incentives for every time they said somebody died of COVID on top of them having a pre-existing condition. They was giving them thousands of dollars to say that the person died of COVID. Why? Because they wanted the fear to be so strong that people will go and get the shot out of fear.
Yep.
So this is what they done already. Medical coercion. They do that now about talking about taking cancer and getting shots and going ahead, getting radiation. All this stuff is coercion. Then they tried to what? Vaccine passport. They were talking about they were trying to put that going on before Biden got out of there. You ain't be able to go nowhere unless you had a passport showing that you've been vaccinated before you can go on. Well, they doing that in the UK. They trying to put all over here. They trying to put it on a ID over here. They want to connect your digital ID and your health, all that stuff in one thing. Number 10, look, unelected authority. That's the World Economic Forum, the Intermonetary Fund, all them people from Davos, all these bureaucrats, technocrats, all these millionaire, billionaires. These are the ones who control stuff. Israel, these are unelected authority.
Yep.
Centralized control. That's what they're doing. That's what the New World Order is about, them doing one thing in one mind. Centralized. But we know Israel is the main control center. That's why everybody in the country around the world is trying to move their banks and all this stuff over into Israel, and it's called Pax Judaica. Look it up. Funding dependence. All this right again. They trying to go digital with the CBDCs, the cryptocurrency stuff. You're gonna be dependent on them. They can cut your currency off like they cut your lights off. Or you ain't doing what we say, cut them. Digital bank gone. Corporate influence, we already know that. Enforcement ambiguity, because you ain't gonna know who doing it. They're gonna be secret, but you're gonna feel the enforcement from the behind the shadows.
Yeah.
So now,
no, go ahead.
go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's all going to be based upon an algorithm. So that's what they putting in place. They trying to put in place the algorithm that's going to control everything. So it's AI that's the hidden hand behind the whole system.
And Israel is at the top. They got all the top techs over there in Israel, and they making sure they getting them. They using other people like Peter Thiel and Atlas Corp and Palantir and all these different versions to implement that into around the world. But they gonna have the total control of the AI, which is nothing but A meaning singular, I as in EYE, which is the eye over the pyramid on the back of the dollar bill, which is Osiris. All right, which is death. All right, so I said, why did Burkina Faso accept the Memorandum of Understanding of Health and Zimbabwe rejected it? Show me a list of both offers and the two-word explanation. So this is why I said Burkina Faso accepted health funding, right? The Tanzania says, and the United States join hands to boost health security in Sahel, which is ridiculous. Disease preparedness. It's no way to prepare for something when they're creating it. But look at the names: outbreak, readiness, support. We already know that they creating this stuff. Now look, surveillance capacity, lab and data strengthening. But again, we know that they're not going to provide technology to Burkina Faso and they not be able to get in through a back door. National investment. Burkina commitment to co-finance, because they're going to co-finance with America. System resilience, community health boost. We know these are lies. Now look what Zimbabwe did. This is why they said no. Data access, health data sharing concerns. They know that something is wrong if they share their data with them, because they know America and them is killers. If I give you data and access to our health, you get to know who's sick, who's not sick, what runs in their family, diseases or whatever. You know what's in their DNA pool. You can use that to your advantage. Sovereignty risk. Look, compromise independence. They don't want to deal with that. They saying us dealing with y'all gonna give y'all power, because when we listen to the Republicans, they tell you once you sign the Memorandum of Understanding and they create some type of health risk or shock, the World Health Organization can jump into play and come over into your country against your sovereignty rules, because now you done signed power with an outside authority that can come into your country because they want the rare minerals. When General Langley was sitting here talking about Ibrahim Traore, the judge was like, he couldn't understand how a rich mineral country like that would just need gold to finance, because and that's how the judge was basically saying General Langley is a lie, because he's saying Burkina Faso is rich with minerals. Why gold is the only thing they use in the fund? That'll make no sense. But Langley was stuttering. That's how you know he was lying. Next one, unequal terms. The deal perceived imbalancement. So that means they weren't going to get no fair deal, no equality. Look, no reciprocity, no shared benefit data. That means whatever they find in going on inside of Zimbabwe citizens, America won't share their data with them that's going to benefit them. I looked into it further. They were saying that if they find any cures or use information that they got from Zimbabwe and sharing their data with them, and if they come up with a cure and all of that, they can sell it on the world market, and Zimbabwe gets no credit and they get none of the funds. Look, resource access, critical resource clause. That means it's something in there. See, Zimbabwe halts, hold on, 350 million U.S. health memorandum of understanding over sovereignty concerns. They know that resource access, that means they want access to the what? The resources.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it's about. And they want to wipe out the darker peoples.
Mm-hmm.
Multilateral principle, preference for the World Health Organization. All this stuff deals with problems. It deals with them giving up sovereignty.
Yep.
Burkina Faso accepted because the Memorandum of Understanding offered direct funding, support for disease control, and health infrastructure, and in line with its willingness to increase national health spending. Zimbabwe rejected because they viewed the terms as intrusive, especially around data and resources, potentially undermining national sovereignty and not sufficiently reciprocal. All right? So I said, no, thank you. Republicans during Biden administration was against this memorandum because they claimed the WHO organization would use disease emergencies as a way to violate America's security and sovereignty and rights and bypass the Constitution. So this raised suspicion when America has a history of using so-called helping health-wise as a weapon. Plus, Traore was being called a dictator last year by General Langley and should be removed. So this year, America wants to help Burkina Faso is a red flag.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, I'm going to respond carefully, in fact, basically, because several different issues are being blended together. The World Health Organization pandemic reforms, U.S. foreign health agreements, U.S.-Africa geopolitics, Burkina Faso's leadership situation. All right, so first on the WHO issue during the Biden administration, many Republicans expressed concern about proposed amendments to what? The international health regulations negotiated through the World Health Organization. Their objections are centered on national sovereignty, constitutional authority, because if you do this, it's going to give them the power, like they was trying to do before, is override people's their choice to say, I don't want to get the shot. Now you're dealing with a person's personal authority as a free person or a citizen. You cannot make me take this shot because y'all did not prove that it was safe. It was rushed. So they went around the mulberry bush, but they couldn't find a way to get around. They couldn't go over it because it would expose them. So they came up with this, a memorandum of understanding, which will allow them to override the Constitution.
Yeah.
Because that's all the Democrats never been doing. But remember, the small hats is playing both sides of the fence. Speech controls, mandate authority. This is what it was about. But now the AI is being foolish. However, it's important to clarify the WHO agreements do not override the U.S. Constitution. Under U.S. law, any binding treaty requires Senate ratification. It doesn't matter. The WHO cannot deploy troops, enforce lockdowns. That's a lie. They already enforced lockdown, and they had troops.
Mm-hmm.
They had us walking around. You couldn't be outside after a certain time. The military was out there. These are lies. They weren't able to all the way do it, but it was done. Historically, U.S. global health initiatives, HIV programs, Ebola response, COVID aid have sometimes served dual purposes. Right, because they was all made to be problems. HIV and all that stuff, these are not natural. These are man-made. All right, so we just wanted to give y'all a background first of why we find this suspicious. Because it's very suspicious. Let me see where Newt is at real quick. Y'all go ahead and say something real quick. Let me see if I can get a Newt on.
All right.
It's very suspect. And I mean, just another way they're trying to get more blood, get another vein, find another vein in there, and vampires suck the blood out the. Now, this is one of the most precious things we have right here to the New Kingdom. This right here is definitely a direct hit, or it could be something else in disguise. It might be something else going on.
That's what
come on in.
Yeah, I was hoping that they would test, but once they sign, he done signed it. But I mean, he can have it suspended, but he have to do that in time. Because once they started sending those vaccinations, you know, they gonna have their people over there watching them, making sure that they giving that shot to their citizens.
Right, because I read it and they said that they will be sending some of they scientists and stuff over there.
Yeah,
That's a problem.
yeah, it's a
One,
problem
you got to
because
worry about. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, yeah, because if they even wanted to test to see what's in the vaccine, they wouldn't be allowed to do that. So now that would be a good thing if he would be able to, and it would be a good thing also if that's what he planned to do to expose America, but we don't know yet. We don't know what's gonna come out of it.
Yeah, but we in America know that. I
Yeah,
wouldn't put my country at risk to prove something to America,
yeah,
to Americans. We already know about all that.
yeah.
We live it.
Yeah, but he don't, but they don't know. That's no, I'm saying. I mean,
Yeah, but I'm saying
yeah,
I don't think that makes sense for him to try to make a play to prove that America
mm-hmm,
got don't have their best interest. We already know that. General
yeah,
Langley was enough.
yeah,
And they got plenty of people they know. They got Thomas Sankara. They got all these people that done got murdered. Got Gaddafi. All that was America.
mm-hmm,
The CIA and the Mossad, they all one and the same.
mm-hmm.
You got something you want to throw in the pot of nuke before we start reading? Because we've been talking about this all day. Oh, hold on. I can't hear. Hold on. Your mic is muted, I think. Unmute yourself. Everybody having a problem for some reason. Let them try to come back. But go ahead, Noonebu, start your
Okay,
you know, get your 3 cards together.
okay,
And I'm gonna shuffle mine. All right, so I'm gonna shuffle mine. So we want to find out is Traore really working for America?
mm,
You know, like what's really going on? Is he
yeah,
really working for America?
right,
What's going on with it?
yeah, mhm. Is Traore really working for America? Mm. Mm.
Too much jumped out.
Mm. Ooh. Okay. So the three.
Just give me a second. Hold
Okay.
on. I'm getting.
Okay.
Getting more.
All right.
Too many fell out. All right. Hold on, the nuke, we got you. Hold on, Gotcha. So Noonebu can go first. Let's see. All right, you in there, Noonebu?
I was here before. I had to use the bathroom though.
Oh, we didn't know. All right. You want to give your take before we jump into reading?
Not
Just a
necessarily.
little.
Yeah, that was pretty thorough. I heard the whole thing. I was listening while
Okay.
driving home on YouTube. But yeah, I'm interested to see what y'all come up with.
All right. Okay, Noonebu, you do your card first.
Okay. So
And,
I pulled my 3, and the card that's shown on the bottom is the Kindred Law card.
Okay. Okay. And I got the star card in reverse.
Okay. Okay. All right. The first card that came out is the 9-ether chemical card.
Okay.
And it reads hydrogen, origin, sunshine, sun, blackness, 9 power, crown power, helios, 9 reasoning, 9 ball circle, circumferent, balls of ether elements, potency, order, original creator, Ra, distance above, sun god and goddess power, royalty, reality, material and physical realities, rationale, reign, radiance, rapture, tranquility, justice, rotation, and revelation. Okay, so you have the 9-ether chemical card at work.
Remember that's
9 reasoning, huh?
Go ahead. I'll wait.
Oh no, I was just saying 9 reasoning, 9 ball circle, circumferent, balls of ether elements, potency, order, original creator, Ra. Okay. Life giver. Well, let me go a little further with this.
You can always clarify it if you.
That's what I'm doing. I'm clarifying.
I'm saying you can always pull another card to clarify that 9-ether one.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, 7, 8, and 9-ether cards are freedom cards as well.
Right. Okay, let me pull another card. Let's see. Okay, we have the in reverse, the Pull Mu and Pull Ma card in reverse. These brain newt god and goddess are the creators of all lungs and tracheas in the African race and their god parents from Africa. Another life card that permits flow of activities mentally, spiritually, physically, and economically. In its upright, there is expansion. Okay. In the reverse is violent contractions, restrictions, and could cause death if not rectified. There we go.
And that's in reverse?
That was in reverse. So pertaining to what was signed, if this not if this not looked into with deeper measures and the ramifications of why things was done the way it was done, as far as the red flag with America, yeah, a lot of people can come up unalive because of this.
Well, I got out of that
Hmm.
because, you know, you mentioned raw and all that. We know we're talking about an African.
Hmm.
We're talking about Africa, and Africa's trying to get free.
Hmm. Yep.
But they need non-reasoning to get free.
Hmm.
Working with America, that's not non-reasoning.
No. Nope.
And then you pull the lungs card, which is dealing with oxygen and breathing. You need that, and it's in reverse.
Yeah.
So that's not freedom. Like he's saying, it's dealing with you're dealing with something that's going to cause problems.
Yep. Violent contractions, restrictions, and could cause death if not rectified.
Suffocation.
Hmm.
And they just took sanctions off of Burkina Faso not too long ago. Because when you put sanctions on a country, you're trying to suffocate them. You're trying to
Yeah.
starve them out.
Hmm.
That's what sanction is. All right, so the card that I got is the Emperor card in reverse. And that's the Emperor card, which is a man on a throne, but it's in reverse. And it says in the zodiac for the Emperor is Aries. So it's an abuse of power, rigidly stubbornness, lack of discipline, lack of control, absentee father, paternity issues. And we know that's Trump. And he's been abusing his power hard
Yep.
in the public and in the private sector. So we know that goes with the lungs because Trump got the power to suffocate and do all of that stuff.
Hmm.
And the position that he holds. And that's so it's confirming
Right.
that we talking about these two individuals because Ether and all of these are African powers.
Right.
So that confirms that at this point, Traore and them is going for freedom.
Hmm.
But messing with Trump and them
Yeah.
is life threatening.
Hmm. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. The second card that came out in the upright is the heart of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Heat, light, life, flow, breathing, oxygen, mentally, spiritually, ethereal, and physically. In reverse is King Apex, Keystone, Predator, Energies, Hunter, Gather, Leader, Maintain Structure, Animalistic. So the heart is in the zodiac represents the heart. That's the month of August, which is the sun. So right now, and this right here is just basically pointing out that the breathing, the oxygen, all of that is for now as far as what's going on, but without the shots, the breathing, the oxygen, all of that is in place. The mental, with not quite the mental, because of he went along with signing something so dangerous, um, spiritually ethereal. Those spirits is at play here, and he not seeing that, and physically, I don't know what you come up with, Ken. 'Cause,
Well, they call him a young lion. He brought back a heartbeat in Africa from the things he was doing since he took power.
okay.
And you know
Hmm.
that we know that it's describing him,
Right.
being strong and bringing strength and all of that. And like you said, he's bringing back life, blood
Mm,
and all that stuff circulating. And so again, that's more of a confirmation.
right.
And they like kind of in the center of things. It's like
Hmm.
that the Sahel is like the heart right
Yeah.
now because everybody is watching.
Hmm.
Um, what I got was the page of swords in reverse, and the pages the pages in tarot is like the teenagers in the regular tarot deck. Now it's in reverse, and now on the
Mm.
card
Ooh.
it says in reverse, bad, disappointing news,
Mm.
lack of ideas, planning, defensive, and player. And look at the sign is on here. The sun right there, the circumpunct. Remember you said that circumpunct
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
Gemini. Trump is a
Yeah.
Gemini,
Yeah. Yeah.
which represent having two faces.
Hmm.
You can't trust
Wow.
that. They're saying it's bad
No.
news
Mm.
because everybody been alive long enough to know that this is not a good look.
Nope.
America never played fair.
Nope.
And also America is the youngest country out of everybody too. So America is a predator. So when you was reading that apex predator, that's also America. America is the apex predator.
Hmm.
They take everybody's stuff. They just did it to Venezuela. Crept in there like a real beast. Go
Yep.
ahead,
Like a
Ken.
thief in the night.
Right, there
Yep.
you go.
Yep. Yep.
Next on you.
Okay. Huh? Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. The last card is in reverse is the hate card. Mental hate based on ignorance within oppression. Spiritual hate is based upon death with hate in the dead for persons and things. Spiritual hate is hate for life. Morality, hate for persons and things. Physical hate is hate and power. Lust and wealth, or combinations of all three: mental, physical, mental, spiritual, mental, physical, spiritual, as example. Mm. And this
It's in
right here,
reverse though.
huh?
It's in reverse though.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it a little bit more reading on that. Let's see. So if it's in reverse as a hate card, then the love card.
Right, it's love.
Yeah,
Because he got a lot of love over there.
yeah, yeah.
He got a lot of love. All right. The third one I got is another page. Now he's young. Now remember, Traore is young
Yes.
out of the other two. So that means him being young. In this case, with the first page of swords, because the sword is a weapon. He is a warrior. He's a warrior first.
Mm-hmm.
And he's making a bad decision fooling with these people. Now this one is the page of Pentacles, which is a young man holding one thing that's valuable, and the pentacle is a gold. It's yellow. We know that one of these things, and over there he's doing a lot with gold.
Yeah.
Now this is and it has Mercury on it, on here, and so is Scorpio. So now look at this. It says, good news in earthly matters, solid beginning, setting goals, developing a plan, laying the foundation, taking advantage of opportunities, jumping in consistency, excellent prospects. And so you got the hate card in reverse, so that's still good news. And then the page of pentacles, because remember, the page of pentacles is one person with that ball, but it's other higher pentacles in the tarot with more than one piece of value. So he's got the lowest. It's the first pentacle. Remember, he started out with that coup. He started out on one level, but he's been growing that one pentacle.
Right.
He's been making moves.
Yep.
So far, like I said, he's dealing with a filthy ruler.
Mm-hmm.
The page that's a young warrior. But it do have the word defensive, and Anoop was saying this earlier too about that, playing the defensive.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't think he's dumb. I think he's, like Anoop said earlier, he's making moves, unfortunately, with a bully on the board. And it's kind of hard not to work with these people.
Mm-hmm.
He's in a little spot. But the last two cards we both had is speaking good. Because even though he got that one pentacle, he still got good news to say in earthly matters. So we know that's what he's doing. He's dealing with the land.
Yeah.
Him and the other two is making moves with the land. He done transformed this spot.
Yeah.
So this still is good. What's your bottom of the deck card?
My bottom of the deck card in the upright is the Kindred Law card. All people of a kind, a race, species are one and the same by blood, lineage, and nature. And what one person of the species does affects the rest of the species, directly or indirectly, the same way each time that conditions are the same. This law is called the kindred or blood lineage law. In book 1 of Introduction to the Nature of Nature, also written by Afro, the Noon writer. So there you have it. It's like, this is another card representing him, and it was like, whatever he does, by them being of one race, whatever he does is going to affect the others, whether directly or indirectly. So this can come out to be good, or it can turn out to be real bad if it's followed all the way through.
Now the card I got under the bottom of the deck, you got this in the other reading, is the star card in reverse. And it says hopelessness, despair, focusing on the negative, lack of faith, lack of inspiration, lack of creativity, boredom, and monotony. Let me see. Let me see something. Let me see what this is. The star card in reverse as it relates to making deals with an enemy. Let's see. Like it's giving the AI a run for his money. Let's see. The star card in reverse as it relates to dealing with an enemy. Okay, I'm gonna set it like that. The star card in reverse as it relates to dealing with an enemy. Oh, keep going. Let's see. Star card. I'm gonna take reverse out just to see what it say. I think the AI having problems tonight. That's weird. He said it can't generate an overview right now. Try again later.
What?
That's interesting. Yeah, that's wild. That's wild for real. I never seen that. I don't know why. Any other time it just throws some. Okay, here we go. The star card appears after the conflict of the tower, indicates a period of healing, hope, and emotional recovery when dealing with the enemy. It suggests moving beyond the desire for revenge, finding inner peace, and letting go of the need to control the situation, allowing time to heal the conflict. Rise above the conflict. The star suggests a higher ground approach where you are rather than engaging in petty conflict and revenge. Focus on healing yourself and maintaining your integrity. Healing and renewal. And that's the thing. Because yeah, the star card represents healing and stuff. In this case, this is a memorandum of understanding for health. And it's dealing with healing, but the star card is in reverse, which means that the person is not in a state of being healed. And we talking about the land. In this case, we're talking about the land.
Right.
So the land needs to repair itself and it needs time to heal. So I guess he's trying to take the high ground because I guess he sees that America has the technological prowess and things, because he's trying to build 55 health centers. And so somehow he thinks that, I guess he's trying to take the high road and overlook that they've been trying to take him out.
Yeah.
For the sake of his people. And see, Anoop was saying that earlier when we was talking. He was going in on that earlier. That's why I said what I said. So that's what I got. So Anoop, what you think?
All right, hold on for a second. I did the numerology. It's a little scattered, but
you need more time.
Nah.
Okay.
It's scattered, but we could just go run through it real quick.
Okay.
Hold on.
Let's do it.
Hold on a second. Put it. I'm gonna go straight to it, so y'all can see it. Just bear with me because I didn't get a chance to like set it up properly, but we're doing it on the fly.
Yeah. Freestyle.
Freestyle.
Marshall says, let's see how we're affected.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, hold on. You trying to use the screen? Okay, gotcha. Hold on. All right, go ahead.
All right. So I didn't get to introduce myself before because my phone was a reception and traveling and trying to jump on it can give a little problem sometimes. But yes, true peace, everyone, all kins and friends. I am Noonebu. I am a member of the Ethiopian race, also known as the African race. Also a proud and noble messenger. Sorry, not messenger. Proud and noble representative of Noon, given to us by the proud and noble messenger Afro Nupu. All right. So let's get this going. I can see the screen, right?
Yes.
All right. So I said now I want to start using the numerology to break down certain things. So the first one I want to break down is the name Ibrahim Traore. All right. So by now the AI knows me. So it's like, all right, Anoop, let's break this down in numerology. First of all, Pythagoras did not come up with numerology. As a matter of fact, Pythagoras studied in Egypt for about 30 years before he was able to expound on his knowledge. I forgot the name of the priest that actually taught Pythagoras. Because they did actually find out who the priest was that taught Pythagoras, and that priest was the supreme mathematician that gave him all the knowledge that Pythagoras knows, right? But Pythagoras, but of course, the Greeks, they like to give a lot of credit for a lot of these findings, but Pythagoras was not the one who created numerology. That already existed. All right. And basically numerology or gematria is just using the alphabet as numbers, as it's saying here. 8 is 1, right? And I is 9, and then you just repeat those numbers, depending what the number or what the letter or consonant represents as far as the number is concerned. Okay. We use a lot of this in Noon as well. Numerology in there, you'll see that Nupu, when spelled out, is equal to 72. I want to say, I think it's 72. But the way Afro Unu did it was a little bit unique because he took off the H at the end, and that's how we were able to get to that number 9 or the number 6 when it came to Zupu. Okay. It says we'll analyze expression, destiny number, all of that stuff here, right? So we go to Ibrahim Traore, convert numbers. Ibrahim, I equals 9, B equals 2, R equals 9, A equals 1, H equals 8, I equals 9, M equals 4. When you add all those numbers up, his first name gives you the number 6. Okay. Second name, Traore, right? T equals 2, R equals 9, A equals 1, O equals 6, R equals 9, and E equals 5. And the reason why O equals 6 is because O is the 15th number, right? When you add up 1 plus 5, you get 6, okay? So anyone that's wondering why it says O equals 6, so it just already broke it down to the simplest term, okay? And his last name is the number 5. So the full expression number is the number 11, right? Which is a master number. This is powerful. What 11 means? 11 is a visionary, spiritual messenger, inspirational leader, charismatic but under pressure, often placed in chaotic environments to catalyze change.
There you go.
Master 11 carry intensity. They don't live quiet lives. They are often forced into leadership during crisis. That's interesting considering Burkina Faso's current geopolitical climate. Soul urge vowels only. All right, vowels in Ibrahim Traore's name. This is interesting because in gematria, or not gematria, sorry, in when we what's the language in the metanetra, you know, they only use consonants. They actually take out the vowels because the vowels were known to be sacred. But in this case, we're using the vowels, okay? So it's called the soul urge, vowels only, vowels in Ibrahim Traore's name. I equals 9, A equals 1, I equals 9, A equals 1, O equals 6, E equals 5. We add those up, his soul urge is 4, right? Inner desire, order, structure, stability, nation building, and security. All of these things he's into. Okay. He inwardly desires structure and rebuilding systems. All right. Personality number, which is all consonants. B equals 2, H equals 8, M equals 4, T equals 2, R equals 9, R equals 9, 7. His personality is 7. Outwardly, he's strategic, analytical, reserved, calculating, observant, and studies opponents. Mind you, he's in the military.
Yeah.
This is what he does in the military. Okay. 7, energy, often watches quietly before moving.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Final breakdown. His expression, order destiny is an 11. His soul, his inner drive is a 4. His mask is a 7. This is a visionary leader, 11 visionary leader with a nation builder heart and wearing a 7 strategist exterior. That combination is not random. It produces revolutionary reformers or ideological disruptors. If you want, we could break down. So I wanted to find out what his full name was, you know, but he didn't have a full name. They say they never give, but for those who don't know, this is Ibrahim Traore right here. Very powerful leader of Burkina Faso. That's him right there. All right. This is another close-up of him right here. You may not know who he is. Captain Ibrahim Traore. That is him. All right. X this out for those that may. All right. So his full name is Ibrahim Traore, right? So I thought he had a middle name. He doesn't have a middle name. Okay. More pictures of him. So, okay. So now I decided to do the full name of his with his title, which is Captain Ibrahim Traore, because we know him as Captain Ibrahim Traore, right? Remember, Ibrahim Traore was 11, but now Captain Ibrahim Traore is a different person. Reason being is because Captain Ibrahim is the person who's in charge. He doesn't. Ibrahim Traore is the person. That's who he is personally. But Captain Ibrahim Traore is his title of who he is, right? And that breaks down to the number 3. Okay. All right. So the number 3 is voice, media, influence, youth, as y'all was talking about before. Morale, and narrative energy. Okay. So that's what Captain Ibrahim Traore breaks down to. Okay. And then now you got then I asked, what is the Memorandum of Understanding? All right. I don't know if y'all read this. Y'all read this before when y'all was breaking it down what the Memorandum of Understanding was? Did y'all?
No, not like this. No.
Okay. All right. So a Memorandum of Understanding, for those who may not know, is a formal written agreement between two or more parties outlines what each side is to do, the goals of cooperation, the responsibilities of each party, the framework for working together, but it is usually not legally binding like a contract. Simple breakdown. Think of it this way: a handshake equals verbal understanding. The memorandum of understanding equals a written understanding. A contract is a legally enforceable agreement. And memorandum of understanding sits in the middle, right? So it's in the middle of a handshake and in the middle of a contract. So it's like a written understanding that we are moving towards doing something. Okay. So it's set in stone, basically.
No.
What an MOU typically includes: the purpose of the agreement, the scope of the cooperation, the roles and responsibilities, the timeline, the funding intentions, if any, which they do have $147 million on the line, and confidentiality clauses, whether it is legally binding or not. Is an MOU a contract? Usually it is not legally enforceable. So he could back out at any given time if
Hey,
he wants.
that's exactly what I had posed that a question. When I heard it, I posed that question.
But it does
Yeah.
show
Yeah.
intent to cooperate, right? So the intent is for both sides to cooperate, right?
Right.
It may lead to a future binding contract. So it's not a binding contract yet. All right. But
It's
it
just
says how but here's the thing. Once you accept this right here, this funding,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
to
that's
me
it.
that's binding right there.
Yes, it is.
So
It'd be too late.
once you accept $147 million from the United States, yeah, they want something in return. Like Tar was saying earlier,
Yeah.
not giving you nothing for nothing. Absolutely not.
They
America
want
is not that generous. Okay. All right. It may lead
they
to
want access to that data.
not even the data. They want that gold. You got a lot of gold. You know what I'm
That too.
saying?
Yeah.
They want that gold. They want the lives of the people too, the physical lives. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So it
That's
says,
where he needs
however,
sound right reason right now, because that's where it comes. Whew.
mhm. However, some MOUs include clauses that are legally binding, like confidentiality. How it applies between countries: when countries sign an MOU, for example, between the United States and Burkina Faso, it often means military cooperation, economic investment, infrastructure support, intelligence sharing, development aid, trade frameworks. It doesn't automatically mean money has transferred yet, but we already know they already, once that contract was written up, that 5 years, 147 million. It often means we agree to work towards this. Why governments use MOUs instead of contracts? It's more flexible, easier politically, avoids immediate legal obligations, allows signals alliance without full treaty ratification. If you want, we can break down $147 million agreement you mentioned earlier, analyze the political implications, or break down the word memorandum etymologically and numerologically. Where do you want to go next? So I said, what's the gematria? Let's get it rolling. You want the gematria of memorandum of understanding? Absolutely. So the gematria of the memorandum of understanding is 7, right? In full reduction, the number is 9. Okay, and in reverse order, the number is 4, right? So we got 7, 9, and 4. Quick symbol snapshot. 7 is a strategy. So the memorandum of understanding is a strategy. It also works in secrecy. So there's a secret agenda being played out here. Analysis, right? So the analysis is they want to come in for the infrastructure to really see what's going on and get the ins and outs of what's going on in Burkina Faso. And diplomacy. For diplomacy is more or less like what they're trying to do is to spread democracy, right? As Tar loves to say, this is demon crazy.
Yes.
Okay, this is what they want to do. All right, so we also have the number 9, which represents completion, global affairs, and humanitarian framing. But we know that this 9, anytime you see 9 in the Caucasian, just know is really the breakdown of 3-3, okay, which is the ghost. Anything that has anything to do with the ghost. And then we also know that this 9 is a representation of the completion of this cycle, this ghost cycle, right? And their goal is to do what? Is to take over the world, which is the global affairs that you're watching right now. The Memorandum of Understanding is just another ploy to what's the word that I'm looking for? To colonize.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anytime you see the word humanitarian and Caucasian, is always a trick statement. You understand? There's nothing humanitarian about the Caucasian. Nothing. I don't care
use it in reverse.
When they come in, yeah, this is not a happy-go-lucky hour. Absolutely not. The Caucasian is not a humanitarian for as long as he's been on this particular planet. Like what y'all was saying before about Planned Parenthood. How you planning for parenthood and you killing babies? How that makes sense?
Exactly.
Yeah. Before structure, but we know that this is Caucasian structure. That's what they want. The order that they want, the order is really chaos under them, right? They want order in order to control, foundation, and system building. Every number here is a negative number, okay? All right. For geopolitical document, that combination actually fits the archetype. 7 is strategy. 9 is global framing. 4 is structural alignment. If you want, we can, hold on, what did I ask next? I said, okay, let's do Donald Trump and President Donald Trump. So we got Donald Trump, right? His name breaks down to the number 3, regular Donald Trump. Okay, I don't have to go through the letters like I did before. We'll be here all night. All right. Donald Trump adds up to 3. In reverse ordinal is 6, right? So we see in the ordinal structure is 3, in reduction is 3, and in reverse is 6, right? The core dominant vibration is 3. 3 equals voice, media, expression, branding, spectacle. Something he does himself every day. Messaging, right? And influence. We know that he has a huge influence on the political structure right now, created his own MAGA movement, all of that good stuff, okay? This 3 also is a representation of 3E, the ghost god. He is a white man.
Osiris, everything.
He is the full embodiment of this right here.
He can't he's the vibration. He cannot get away from it to its root core.
That's right.
This force is 3. Look at the gematria. It's 6 and 3. It can't be, there's no way out of it.
That's right.
Yep.
That's
he
right.
is possessed.
Donald Trump. That's why they call him the last president. A lot of books, a lot of conspiracy theorists. Label him the last president, and we know that 3 is the last of the cycle before the what you call the circle goes back up. Okay,
the Noonebu. That's right. Us right here, right now, speaking about this.
That's right, and we know that all of these adjectives here actually embody who Trump is. His voice is very significant at this time. We know that even though he bashes the media, he is the media right now. His expression, we know how he feel. Every single thing he expresses himself, even if he don't want to express himself, he's expressing. Branding is that's everything's name. Every single thing. He got
the shoes,
casino, the shoes, the liquor, the everything is Trump. He even got the told you if you want your prescription, you go to TrumpRx.com. Everything is Trump. So he's the full embodiment of the three. I don't want to spend too long on it. I just wanted y'all to really understand that he is the full embodiment of the three. All right. And it says that aligns strongly with public persona energy. See, that's who he is. All right. Now we move on to President Donald Trump, because this is a different person. Remember, I want people to really understand that when you put a title in front of somebody's name, they are the embodiment of something different. And even Noon teaches us that as well. In order for a person to be a king in Noon, they have to be an embodiment of Nupu in the flesh. All right. It says that in the back of book 2. In order for someone to be a king in Noon, they have to be an embodiment of Nupu in the flesh. Okay. So the same goes for the leaders in these societies as well, especially Donald Trump is different from regular Donald Trump. Okay. So President Donald Trump now must come up to 5. Okay. Full reduction, another 5. See what this is. Dominant vibration equals 5. 5 equals what? Power shifts, disruption, movement, unpredictability, and change energy. Once again, this is all who he is. This number 5 right here. Okay. So quick comparison. Donald Trump, 3 energy equals voice, media, and branding. President Donald Trump is the 5 energy, change, disruption, and power shift. Adding the title shifts the vibration from the 3 expression to movement, change, 5. If you want, we can compare him numerically to Joe Biden now. Not now. We're going to do that another time. So I said right now we are comparing the Memorandum of Understanding between Trump and Traore. Says, well, all right, let's line this up cleanly. We are comparing the Memorandum of Understanding of Donald Trump and Ibrahim Traore using English ordinal and reduction, the systems we've been using consistently. Title and entities reference is Donald Trump and Traore. So Memorandum of Understanding, we had we got Donald Trump's numbers and we got Traore's numbers. Now let's compare the vibrations. Okay. We look down, we go down, we go down. It says wait, hold on. Let me read it first. All right. So the pattern, you got the 7, which is the MOU strategy, 5, which is the Trump executive action, and 11, Traore intensity. The combined reduced energy comes back to 5. 5 equals movement, shifts in alliances, and restructuring power dynamics. If we include the 9 from the MOU reduction, right? 5 plus 9 plus 11 equals 25 to 7 again. The cycle's back to 7. Strategy, diplomacy, and hidden structure. There's a looping between 5 and 7, overt action and strategic positioning. That dynamic fits how MOUs are typically used geopolitically. Movement wrapped in strategic framing. That's right. That means that they're trying to strategically move Burkina Faso into this colonial structure using the secrecy of the MOU. Remember, the MOU is a secret document with secret intentions. Okay. The big picture numerology snapshot. Memorandum equals strategic framework, which is a 7. Trump, the disruptor and negotiator, number 5. Isn't this what he is? This man is a disruptor and he's a negotiator. Traore, high intensity reformer, 11. These numbers in a pattern of pressure, strategy, and power shift. If you want, we could go deeper. I said, nah. I said, let's use Captain Ibrahim Traore's full title and name as well. So Captain Ibrahim Traore, his name breaks down to 3 as well. Okay. And then the reverse is a 4. Right? So now we go down further, right? And one thing I want you all to understand that there's negatives and positives to all numbers. 1 has a negative and positive. 2 has a negative and positive. 3 has a negative and positive. So though you may be seeing me say, okay, Trump represents the negative aspect of the 3, Ibrahim could be representing the positive aspect of the 3. What we have to do is look at the person's personality in order to tell you exactly what it is that they're expressing, because Trump could be expressing the negative aspect of 3 and Ibrahim expresses the positive aspect of the 3. And that's where we draw the line. We have to draw the line by observing, right? So in Noon, one of the things that we must do is observe, right? That's how we reach the conclusion to whatever it is that we're looking for. Okay, so Captain Ibrahim Traore is 3, right? So now you get Trump is a 3 and Traore is a 3, right? That same core expression, messaging, public narrative, and vibration. The MOU 7/9 sitting on top. Number 7, strategy, diplomacy, behind the scenes structure. Number 9, international scope, broad outcomes. So the signature becomes strategic document that operates in the global frame carried by 2 narrative actors, 3 and 3. It's funny they call them actors. Right? If you want, you can calculate the gematria of the next phrase, Memorandum of Understanding between Donald Trump and Captain Ibrahim Traore. And I said yes, but I think they didn't put President Donald Trump, so I got to skip down. I said, oh, yeah, here I go. I said, remember to use Trump's full title, President Donald Trump, right? So it'll be the Memorandum of Understanding between President Donald Trump and Captain Ibrahim Traore, right? So when they break it all down, when you get all that stuff, now you get 11. The reduction is 2. The reverse is 11, and the reverse is 1, right? What changed when we add president? We add president, everything locks into 9 across the systems, right? Adding president shifts the field dramatically. Now we get 11, right? Yeah.
No, I was sneezing. My bad. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. It's all good. Yeah. So interpretation pattern without the title, global completion energy 9, right? Without the title. Well, this just giving us without the title. So I said, what's the negative aspect of 11? Because that's what that whole thing breaks down to, the Memorandum of Understanding between President Donald Trump and Captain Ibrahim Traore. All right, let's break this down clearly. You're asking about the negative aspect of 11 in numerology. 11 is a master number, which means it amplifies energy. So what's happening between these 2 nations is going to amplify energy of what's going to take place on this planet. All right. When balanced, it's a visionary, intuitive, and inspirational. But when it's imbalanced, the shadow side emerges. Shadow aspects of 11. Nervous system overload. 11 carries high frequency energy. When not grounded, this can manifest as anxiety, paranoia, restlessness, sleep disturbance, and mental burnout. It's like too much voltage running through a wire. Emotional extremes. 11s feel things intensely. Shadow side, mood swings, reactionary decisions, idealism turning into disappointment, oversensitivity to criticisms. They can oscillate between inspiration and collapse. Ego inflation, because 11 is often seen as chosen or visionary. The shadow can become messiah complex, grandiose. Sorry, I forgot how to say this word, but I do know how to say it. I just can't say it right now. But they alone see truth. Resistance to accountability. When it takes over, the light dims. Indecision, because 11 reduces to 2. Shadow to energy. Overthinking, trying to please everyone. Difficulty choosing sides, and secret resentment. Right? And we got self-sabotage, procrastinate, withdraw, sabotage opportunities out of fear. Then the core danger of 11, chaos, instability, erratic leadership, conspiracy thinking, isolation, leadership context, operate from emotion rather than strategy, believe destiny protects them, become isolated from advisors, make decisions based on symbolic meaning over logistics. All right. So they're basically breaking down what the 11 is. I says, yes, let's see how the 11 pertains to the Memorandum of Understanding between the United States of America and Burkina Faso. Right. So we're going to skip down. Structure layout, full presidential agreement, high intensity. Let's see. So in the MOU context, small clauses become big consequences. So like y'all was saying before, this could be a big consequence with them doing this, destroying a lot of lives. Strategic language carries heavier long-term effects. So this can affect us in the long term.
Yeah.
The agreement may look procedural, but carry symbolic weight. It's not casual energy. This is definitely not casual. Okay. So energy shifts often appear when instability, power transition, and needs for reforming and restructuring. 11 agreements often happen during military shifts, realignment of alliances, economic structure, and sovereignty negotiations. So yeah, gonna keep going down further because I'm gonna push through this. Yeah, and that's the end of that. But so the numbers, as far as numerology is concerned, the numbers are reflecting that these two individuals can cause something catastrophic if it's not done correctly. And it's not gonna be done correctly because right now is the time of the Zoop, and they are not the time of the Zoop, but now is the time in which they're trying to hold on as much as they can to whatever stronghold. So the reason why they chose Burkina Faso is because Burkina Faso has that power right now. Ibrahim Traore has the light right now. He's the golden boy right now on the planet. So that's why this secret agreement was done. And if he's not careful, it's gonna be catastrophic. So that's what the numbers say.
Yeah.
Now back to y'all. Sorry to take up so much time.
You good, Ken. It's truth. It's truth.
I got something I want to add that'll take this world by storm.
Uh-oh.
Let's do it.
Yeah, while you was talking, I got hit, and I said, let me look this up. I said, this here ought to be very importante. Let's see here. All right, now watch this. Let me know when y'all can see that.
Yes, I can see it.
Well, I asked the question, is there an occult spell called memorandum? It says there's no widely recognized occult spell specifically called memorandum. However, the term memento mori relates to the themes of mortality and the remembrance in various spiritual and philosophical contexts. So then it goes, there's no widely recognized occult spell specifically that I have the term, okay. In the realm of witchcraft and magic spells typically have specific names and purposes such as protection, love, or healing. If you're looking for spells related to memory or remembrance, you might explore spells that focus on memory enhancement or invoking the spirit of your loved one. So I go down. What are the things and practices associated with memento mori in spirituality? Look, memento mori emphasizes the inviolability of what?
Death.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's what memorandum means in Latin in the occult. Memento mori. Encouraging reflection on mortality to inspire more meaningful life. Common things include the transience of life, the importance of spiritual preparation, and the cultivation of virtues through the contemplation of what? Death.
Yeah.
So he's giving you something called the Memorandum of Understanding. Look at this, because I kept going. Let me know y'all can see that.
Yes.
Memento mori is an artistic symbol of trope acting as a reminder of the inevitability of what? Death.
Death.
The concept had its roots in the philosophers of classic antiquity and look, Christianity. And appeared in funerary art and architecture from the medieval period onward. And we know that Osiris's favorite depiction is a skull. Y'all see me change the picture?
Yes.
Look at the third one. It got memento mori. You got a skull on a table and a heart on the other side. Skeleton.
Yep.
So basically, go ahead.
Now I'll just go and say I avoid all clothing that have that symbol.
Oh, me too.
They be putting it on everything.
A lot of the clothing have that these days. It's sickness.
Yep.
All right. So I'm gonna go to the last one. Because I wanted to know what the word understanding was in Latin, and it was intellectus. So this is the whole thing is called memento mori intellectus in the Kabbalah, refers to the awareness of mortality and the transient nature of life, which encourages individuals to seek a deep understanding of existing spirituality. This concept emphasizes the balance between the spiritual and the mundane, urging one to appreciate both the divine and everyday life. So it's basically, it's the same thing. So when they sending this stuff around, that's the spell.
Yeah.
It's basically telling you, you're going to be reminded, you must be reminded that you're going to die. This is a remembrance of death. And if they giving it to you, being a warring country, that's basically, they telling you that's a spell. You signing that shit. See, that's how they get us.
Dang.
Logos.
Yep.
This is why the nature book says 6 ether and logos is basically language in general. I can tell certain dumb followers of York, they only be talking about the English language is a spell. No, nigga, all languages are spells. They all, because that's how the 6 ether controls in this way. It goes all languages, fool.
Yeah.
Realize they in a spell. Following them contracts that York got them signed. So this stuff comes from Kabbalah. That's what I was looking at. Kabbalistic thought to emphasize, it's just saying the same thing. But they tell you to contemplate on life and death. But in this case, it's telling everybody who's signing this bullshit that remember, you gonna die. That's what they telling you. So that's our spiel. We've been on for 2 hours, which I knew was going to run that long, which is great. I just want to thank everybody for coming out, and we'll see y'all on the next go round. True me to come to peace and wartime.
True peace.
True peace.